Hi guys, my name is Juhin. Today I'll be presenting on the topic performance characteristics of fuel injection system. So my group member, as you can see, is Anoop Sebastian. Moving on, so fuel injector. Yeah, fuel injection systems plays an important role in the present day automobile industry, and like any error, a small error to it can cause a potential damage to the whole system, like the engine. So the parameters we have to consider are mainly the design characteristics and all. So as you can see on the side, we have an illustration for the fuel injection system to get a good idea about the system. So as you can see, the components of the fuel injection system are injectors, cold start injector, fuel pump, fuel filter, fuel accumulators, inlet and outlet valve. So these are all the main components that comes with the fuel injection system. Moving on to the next slide, we had to take a survey, like to know like which all parts are mostly affected for the fuel injection system. So what we have to consider was the people, like getting reviews from the people, how much people know about it, like what all areas we have to improve. So that we have to look from the survey. So from the survey, the parts which we mainly considered were like the fuel accumulator, fuel filter, fuel distributor, and inlet tract. So in this system, you can see like the fuel accumulator and fuel distributor had like 33.33% responses. So people think that these two parts are mostly affected when considering like the failures and due to the errors and all. So 21%, in total, like 26 people attended that question, and 21 answered like these two options. So and 5 of them just skipped it. So as you can see, the next coming were like fuel filter, which only like 23.81%, and the inlet tract was the next one, which is like the lowest. So that's like 9.52. So as you can see, like the fuel accumulator and fuel distributor is the main components that shows potential errors from the people side of view. Moving on. So this is like the chart. Can you get it? Yeah. Okay. So this is like the chart, like shows the flow rate and outlet pressure. That is like in the fuel injection system. So as you can see, like the flow rate. So as we can see, if there is a gradual increase in the outlet pressure, the flow rate gets reduced. So this has to be precise. Like whenever considering these parameters, so the outlet pressure, and whenever there is an increase in outlet pressure, the flow rate should be reduced to get a better performance. So in this system, like in this graph, the FIP pressure values should be like 600 bar, and it must be maintained constant for better performance. So at the 600 bar, we get the most efficient part from the fuel injectors. And the optimum offset value should be like 9.5 mm, and it must show a reduction of 45%. So that's gonna improve the performance as well. So the side thrust and reaction forces are to be reduced in the CAM mechanism for the better performance of your injection system. And considering these factors, we saw from the chart, it's clear that what all changes we have to make in the designing level parameters to get a better improvement from the system. So supporting this graph, we got an article from Gunashekhar and Gopalakrishnan, the article was established in 2016, and the topic was the most important parameters to determine and the performance characteristics of an engine. So he says that the most important parameters are like brake thermal efficiency and the brake specific energy consumption, that's BSEC, and for the fuel and its blends. So and he also says that, adds with the point that the lower heating value of the fuel plays an important role in the performance characteristics. In general, biodiesels of the LHV, that's like the lower heating value, is high efficiency of the engine will also be high, and vice versa. So that complements our result, the graph a lot. And moving on to the next slide. So basically people have everybody have a doubt that how it works. So how it works, at first it requires air, and the air supplies to the vent and create a pressure to the fuel tank. which will result in an airflow to the main, like to the engine. Like, so the next, like after the fuel tank comes, the fuel goes through the fuel pump, which directly goes to the injector, and like the injector, whenever it works, like the injector plays an important role in the to supply fuel to the engine. Like it directly, like whenever we start ignition, like it needs the correct time to get a flame, like to get it like started. So the injector plays an important role in it. So moving on a little bit, so like in the fuel characteristics, so it's like in the characteristics, like we have a lot of them. So some of them are fuel pressure, fuel flow, viscosity, and nozzle area. So in fuel pressure, I think Anoop will be like discussing more about these topics. So it's up to him. So next, Anoop, my group member, will be presenting the next one. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anoop Sebastian. I'm going to continue with the fuel injection system topic. My friend Juhin explained about the fuel injection system and its performance characteristics. And I'm going to continue with fuel characteristics influence on durability of the fuel injection system and its performance characteristics. And there are 4 fuel characteristics like fuel pressure, fuel flow, viscosity, nose area. And the first major important factor is the fuel pressure. In combustion process, the cylinder pressure is affected by the changes in the volume of combustion chamber due to piston travel, heat transfer to the valves, blow by, and in addition to that, another primemost factor is the LHV of the fuel. Like lower heating value is the fuel is also an important factor for considering the fuel injection performance. Moving on to the next performance characteristic is fuel flow. As we all know that the smoother the flow, greater the performance. If it is a smoother flow, the performance will be greater for fuel injection system, so that we can increase the efficiency of the system, so that the economy as well. So the next one is viscosity. Our injection quantity sweep comparison between gasoline and diesel clearly indicated that the lower viscosity fuel exhibited the significantly higher fuel return rates and temperature. So here also the performance can increase. Therefore, lower viscosity fuel exhibited significantly higher fuel return rates. So that viscosity is also plays an important role in the performance of the fuel injection system. So the next one is nozzle area. So total nozzle area should be as small as possible in relation to cylinder diameter for good combustion, particularly at part load. For a good combustion system, there should be a smaller nozzle area. So the nozzle pressure should be maintained. So these 4 characteristics should be maintained, so we can get a good fuel performance and economy of the system. So the engine performance characteristics can be increased by these 4 fuel characteristics. So moving to the next slide, it's fuel injection system advantages. So I'm discussing about some main advantages of the fuel injection system. So the first one is improved automation. So as we all know that the automation level is increasing day by day on years. So the first most important is improved automation. If we use the fuel injection system at a good manner, we can increase the automation of the fuel injection system. So the next one, better fuel flow. As I already explained, that the fuel flow, smoother the flow, greater the performance. So if you get a better flow, the performance will be greater for the engine. So the smoother idle, improved fuel economy. So we need to consider the economy of the engine system. Like if you ride a vehicle, you have to use the maximum output from small input. Like the next one is lower emission. And the next is better cold weather drivability and increased engine power, and it is simpler to use. The fuel injection system are simpler to use, and the designing characteristics of fuel injection systems are major in that criteria. So we got an article from the library that according to Tom in 2018, gasoline-like fuels can potentially be used to simultaneously achieve high efficiency and low pollutant emissions in combustion ignition engines. So gasoline like fuels can increase to achieve less pollutant emissions in compression ignition engines, according to Tom. Uh, there are multiple parameters like fuel pressure, temperature, fuel flow, has greater influence on the durability of the fuel injection system. It depends on the alternative fuel used in the engine. And also, he said the fuel carriers like viscosity, volatility, lubricant properties are the major criteria for selecting the alternative fuels for the engine. So, we can easily understand that these four characteristics plays an important role in the performance of the fuel injection system. As you can go to the next slide. These are the possible signs of fuel injection failure. And if you experience a hard starting of an engine, that should be because of the fuel injection failure. So we can understand that the hard starting can be a possible sign of fuel injection failure. Next one is failed emission test. The smoke from the tailpipe also is a major possible signs of injection failure, and poor performance of the engine and increased fuel consumption. And the fuel consumption, if increased, it is because of the fuel injection failure. So these five characters say hard starting, failed emission test, poor performance, increased fuel consumption, and smoke from the tailpipe, or are the possible fuel injection failure. Moving on to the next slides, I'd like to conclude this topic as to the basic steps to resolve these problems facing on fuel injection system. Like the first one is the introducing new inspection methods. Like we all know that there are different type of inspection methods in every industry. Like introducing new inspection methods, like there are a lot of tools to improve the inspection. There are a lot of quality softwares available in this time in internet. And if you make sure that you need to use that softwares to implement in our system, and to use that softwares to for the inspection methods, so they can find out a lot of errors for the fuel injection failure. So the next one is proper training for employees. So if you give proper training for employees, we can reduce the errors caused during design. So introducing new employees and giving proper training for them is another criteria for the resolve this problem. And also refresh old technologies. There are a lot of old technologies these days, so we can introduce new methods of inspection, and to introducing refreshing old technologies with new technologies is another method to resolve these problems. And efficient utilization of resources. There are a lot of resources like manpower, machines, materials, and these 3 M's. If we use these resources at a minimum input, and we can get a maximum output. That efficient utilization of these resources can use to resolve this fuel injection system. So the next one is a regular maintenance of machines. The machine maintenance is also plays a greater role to resolve that issue. This another one is customer reviews, and taking customer reviews regularly, like twice in a month, can plays a vital role to resolve this issue.